Okay, uneducated psychologist here. What are we going to do on day number 2? We are going to talk about, as you can see, as I said before, DISC and MBTI, how it can access, there we go, how DISC, you can use DISC to access the MBTI quickly and easily. You can see DISC, and I have the MBTI inside, and you can see underneath I wrote, which we're going to get to the physics. Time is fundamental, space is emergent. This is a flippening. Now the moment is now to flip, to think differently. Let's access it. So the D is the first one. What is the D in DISC? Dominant, direct, decisive, doer. Domineering and demanding, you can say, is the negative. Any one element in the corners is the most of what that element is in the DISC. So if you're an ENTJ, you're mostly a D. I am an ENTJ. I can attest I am mostly dominating. It's a consistent, all the time, persistent, not necessarily deep, breadth versus depth, all-encompassing element. The point of doing the DISC to gain access into the ENTJ when you're assessing somebody else, say if it's in sales or you're dating or speed dating, you want to know exactly what you're getting into. You were maybe surprised, or you didn't take the time until you do have the time to do a quick analysis. You don't want to be, you want to use this as a tool, not a test for other people. So keep it to yourself, because you could be wrong as you're studying it. People also can emulate other elements, especially if they know the MBTI. Really not going to, it's going to be obvious if you're trying to emulate some other element of the DISC, because there's only 4. And if you want to do that, you want to be very clearly one of them. The next one is the I in DISC. Mostly is an ESFP. Influential, inspirational, interactive, interesting, also impulsive and irritating sometimes. Okay, that is an ESFP. The top 2 are active, as I was saying, but the D is more task focused, and the I is more people focused. Now let's continue down to the S, which is steady. They're more people focused and reflective, and they're stable, supportive, sincere, but slow and sensitive. As you can see, INFP. Look up what an INFP is. You will agree. And then we get to the C in DISC and ISTJ. They are compliant, cautious, careful, conscientious, and calculating and condescending sometimes. Any one of these elements, as I mentioned for the DISC, you quickly pick up on them, especially if they're the most of one of these, like the 4 in each corner. Okay, you're already 25% away of accessing the second you capture one of these quickly. And the whole point of this is to make the assessment of someone quicker, accurate, and more efficient. As you can see, the other ones, so if you're like an ESTP, you are mostly D, but also a little bit of I, and then conversely, okay? There is like crossover from here to here, so if you're in this quadrant, ISTP, you're mostly C and some I, so you can cross over. That's how you would read it. Let us move over to the physics. Time is fundamental, space is emergent. This is the flippening. This is the way to quickly access the new theories of assembly theory in particular, and constructor theory. You both need to do this. This is your quick access into those 2 theories of physics. A lot of people ask, what about string theory? String theory is the perfect theory for string theory. There is no experiment that you can conduct because it is existing at a scale smaller than the smallest known scale, which is the Planck length. Therefore, it's great if it's true. Now, on paper, it is true, but there is no practical application. I am doing psychology here because there's a practical application. The physics, we will get to a practical application, and I believe through assembly theory, we can build personalities chemically. Maybe some epigenetic personality app on your phone, or not on your phone in the future. It'll be some other application, so you can change your personality at will. Let's get into how that can be. Everyone believes, or we've been taught, we were raised, we learned in science, in school, everywhere, space is first. How can it be otherwise? Well, we know time exists, and everyone asks what is consciousness, and no one has an idea. But the second you flip it around, instead of making space fundamental, you make time fundamental. What does that do? It makes the process of getting from point A to point B in time, not space, your primary, your fundamental. Yeah, I know, I'm being reflexive, excuse me. But let's try it. That's how assembly theory works. You get an index number, so with that we can access, hopefully, like this trajectory. We go from maybe in the disk into the MBTI. You have a time and scale trajectory, and there'll be an index associated with it. I have no idea what it is. We have to figure out, we have to come up with it. So let's work on that. Uneducated psychology out.